Welcome to the Marquee Model Pokemon Ultra Prism League Challenge. The last round of the day was Andy King's Silvally Zoroark against Thomas Naylor's Silvally Steel. With this deck really impressing us to start off with, Andy King a record of 4-0 and Thomas Naylor with a record 3-1. It's going to be really interesting to see how these two decks compete against each other, especially with the archetype of Silvally Steel already quite distinguished, and obviously Andy King using that dark energy to access Zoroark's GX move. The impressive thing here is that Andy's going to go first, and he starts his lone Zoroark. So with this lone Zoroark, he's looking at his hand. He hasn't really got too much going on within his hand, so all he can really do is attach, possibly for turn, and then probably pass. So he's got to hope that Thomas hasn't really got anything to go with in terms of attacking into this Zoroark, because a stray Lele or something like that could really be difficult for Andy to get back here. So Thomas attaches that choice band to the Registeel, and Cynthia's away. So he's going to look to shuffle his hand into his deck and draw 6 new cards from his shuffle. So here, as I said, Andy's really not looking forward to possibly having this Zoroark knocked out turn 1. So with it being only a best of 1 game, that possibility is highly likely, and obviously he could possibly lose his perfect record so far in the tournament. So looking at Thomas's hand, he hasn't really got too much going on, so he does play a nest ball from hand, and I believe he's going in to search for a type null. So hopefully he's able to get his Silvally start mowing through Andy's side slowly. So there's goes down type null, and I believe here he just passes turn once he shuffles up. So shuffling up, offering the cut, Andy cuts, and then yeah, passes turn. So top deck. So here I don't really agree with Andy's play here because he straight away plays the Cynthia. Now playing that Cynthia straight away meant all of his cards got shuffled into his deck and so on and so forth. Now, there's no chance of him possibly drawing another Pokemon just from the Cynthia. Although, if he was able to Evosoda, which was in his hand, Evosoda the Zoroark straight away into a Zoroark, then possibly it could give him another out for a better supporter, for example, like a Bridget. So as you can see in his hand, he's got himself his full up Bridget, which ideally he could have had for this turn to be able to get more Pokemon onto the side of the field. But here he does manage to get a Evosoda, and he's able to put it onto his active Zoroark. So he's possibly able to get a little bit of damage output straight away. So that Evosoda goes down, and I believe he's going to trade away a Dark Energy here from the looks of it. Yep. And then he draws 2 cards into another Bridget and a Zoroark GX. So I believe here he Ultra Balls away the Zoroark and the Bridget, which, as he said rightfully, has got to be done to be able to pursue his game state and his board state. So from here, he gets himself out his own type null, which he's looking to obviously attach to and evolve into a Silvally, and generally develop his own ball state. So I believe here he just attacks for 40 because of obviously his extra bench type null, and obviously it's Thomas's go. So Thomas puts down another type null, evolves one up to the Silvally. Now here with the Silvally, it's a little bit awkward for Thomas because if that Silvally gets trapped in the active, he can't use the ability to be able to retreat the Silvally out from the active. But here he just Cynthia's again, shuffling all of his hand into his deck, hopefully to draw some more cards, possibly some energy, because at the moment he hasn't actually played an energy card at all on his side of the field. So with both players sort of having a little bit of a sticky start here, hopefully one of them will be able to start kicking off running. Now that looks like he has 3 DCE in his hand, Thomas, so it'll be quite interesting to see who he attaches to and who he attaches to. So he attaches to the type null, to which he brings up that type null, and I believe he armor coats, I believe it is, for 30? Yeah, for 30. And then Andy draws. So Andy does finally decide to get that Bridget off, so I believe he's going to search himself another type null and 2 Zoroarks. So he's able to start ranking up that bench damage, which is from the Zoroark's GX's attack. So obviously it's 20 plus for each bench Pokemon you have on your side of the field. So there's a trade hitting an Ultra Ball. So he actually can't play that Zoroark, which I believe they do realise this in the turn because obviously he just got that Bridget down. But obviously being it the final game and being recorded, obviously they can't actually evolve that. There you go. And Thomas rightfully tells him that and just picks his cards up. No worries. So in fact, Andy will still pick up the Zoroark and put it into his hand, which here, if Thomas manages to find an N in his deck, then obviously he'll be able to possibly shuffle them two Zoroarks away so Andy won't be able to get to use them on his next turn. But here you see Andy attaching, I believe it's a fire memory to one of his type null and just pass his turn. So Thomas here draws. Let's see what Thomas is going to do here. So as I said, he's got quite a lot of energy in hand with his DCEs. I believe that's a Guzma in hand as well. Let's see what he decides to do here. He's just having a bit of a think about what he's doing. So there goes another type null and a DC onto that type null. So it's looking like he's going to retreat out and then have another 30 and changes the uses Moderna's change of clothes to allow that choice band to come into the type null. See, he could have possibly done that a turn earlier, so obviously that meant he had an extra 30 damage onto the Zoroark, so here it would have had 120 rather than anything else. Now, it looks like Andy's really picking up some steam here, so he's managed to get himself his Silvally GX out now, and he's got two Zoroarks. He's used one's trade already, and he's just end both opponents down, both players down to 6 cards. So hopefully they both get a fresh hand of 6. I think Thomas was quite happy with that due to the amount of DCE he did have in hand. So Andy here's picked up 6 new cards. He's found himself a Tapu Lele. He's found himself a Zoroark, an Ultra Ball, and I believe that's another DCE in hand, which we will see in a minute. So yeah, down goes another Zoroark. Yeah, there's a DC in hand, Lele, and an Ultra Ball. Let's see what Andy decides to do. So I believe he's going to attach the DCE to the Silvally. So then he's able to then look to get another Ultra Ball. Oh, he's trading the Ultra Ball. No worries to get 2 more cards. Fantastic. So I believe in his hand he does have 2 puzzles at a time now. He trades away another N. So he picks up an N and a field blower. I believe he does have 2 puzzles at a time in hand, which would be quite interesting. Now, it will all depend on what he decides to do in the coming turn to see how that does affect his game state. But here, once again, it's another 120 damage. So it just misses out on the KO due to the ability of the type null's attack. So which means it takes 20 less damage. So, I believe actually it's 30 less damage. Sorry, 30. So here, and he's ranking up that damage on Thomas's side of the board. Now Thomas has to try and attack here and try and get some more damage onto Andy's board because otherwise it's going to end up slipping away from him a little bit too far. So you see that field blower going down, taking off that fire, I believe it's a fighting memory. Yeah, fighting memory of a type now, which could be a little bit difficult for him because of the fact that with that being in the discard pile, now with Andy having 2 puzzles at a time in his hand, could possibly be a bit of a sticky situation for him. So let's see what Thomas decides to try and do, whether he's going to retreat out of the type null maybe, and then look to attack with a Silvally, or whether he's going to go over a Registeel to try and power up the Silvally. I don't know if he's got any energy in his discard pile, because Silvally's ability Turbo Drive allows 1 energy to pass from the discard pile into the into one of their bench Pokemon. So here he attaches a Float Stone to the Silvally. Now that could end up turning out to bite him a bit in the bum because of the fact that with that Float Stone being on the Silvally, he might not be able to get that field blower play out in terms of change of clothes because obviously where he's got the memory on the Moderna, sorry, he may have to change the clothes once, but then he won't be able to do it for a second turn, which is how the ability works with the ability works with the Moderna. So it's just gonna try and see what he can do now. It could possibly be another 60 onto the active Zoroark. So let's see where he goes with this. So there's he evolves, I believe that's into a Silvally, and there's a DC already on top of that. And let's see what Thomas decides to do. So he's going to retreat out, by the looks of it. Brings up a Silvally. And he attaches another DCE, which could be quite troublesome because he does only have 1 more DCE, I believe, into deck. So I believe here comes a Turbo Drive for 120. Which uses Change of Clothes to get out that choice band. And then there you go for the knockout. So there as well, Thomas doesn't really look in his discard, so I don't know if he does and does not have a Steel Energy in his discard pile to be able to use there. But here we go. Let's have a look at see what Andy's going to be doing. Now, quite an interesting thing to do is that the Andy doesn't actually play Psychic Memories, so he uses the Mew EX to be able to counter things like Buzzwole GX, and also looks to try to um, use the Trickster GX with the Dark Energy. So it's going to be really looking to see um, using them Fighting Memories here rather than the Psychic, because he plays two, I believe, Fighting Memories within his deck. So he's really looking to get these cards out now. So he Mallows. So let's see what he can get hold of. So he's having a look at his discard pile as well. Remember, he does have them two puzzles of time in hand, so he can get stuff from his discard pile and put it into his hand. So that Mallow, I'll just see what he's trying to search for. So I believe he'll probably go for a Dark Energy and possibly Acerola, I think. So no, there's a puzzle. So he straight up goes for two puzzles at a time. Maybe with the end refresh he did himself earlier, maybe that he couldn't actually get that out. So he might have the Ace. Yeah, you can see he has the Acerola in hand, and he already has a puzzle of time in there anyway. So he picks up them two puzzles at a time. So indeed now I believe he's got three puzzles in his hand. So here I would expect a. Here we go, one puzzle at a time. So here he's going to go for a Dark Energy. And let's see what else, or a DCE. Which one's he going to go for? So you see, he already does have another Dark Energy in there, so he's going to go for a Fighting Memory and a DCE. So that's quite an interesting choice from Andy there. So he attaches the DCE to the Silvally and the Fighting Memory, so that means he will be able to get the knockout in his next attack. The ability will allow him to retreat the type null, and he does attack into the Silvally. Now, this is another mistake here in terms of how Andy hasn't remembered to take the Dark Energy and attach it to one of his Pokemon, because here, if the type null attacks into the Silvally GX, then he could possibly Acerola loop his Silvally and his type null so that he's able to keep on that 120 damage with also the Fighting Memory. So then here, instead of literally having just the one KO and him possibly then taking out his GX Pokemon, he could literally Acerola loop to keep that going. But here, because he misplayed on that energy, there's a big chance of him now not being able to do that extra damage on another turn if this Silvally goes down. Now Thomas here, he's started to pick up a little bit of speed. He's managed to get a Oranguru out and a Registeel out, so he's still got that type null with a metal and a DCE in there. Now that Silvally has come back to bite him a little bit there because of the fact that obviously he hasn't got a chance to find a Silvally to be able to play it onto this type null, so he's having to really think about what he's got to do here. So the Silvally being there with the float stone, not having any energy attached to it, is a real problem for Thomas here. So he's looking for his deck to see what looking for his hand, sorry, to see what he wants to do with this. But I believe he's just going to hit the Silvally for 100 damage, I believe, or 130, I believe. Is it 130? Oh, 100 damage, no worries. So, right, so he hits it for 100 damage with, I believe it's Claw Slash. So 100 damage is on there. Now here, as I said, Andy, personally, the play that I would have made is the Acerola to then get it onto the type null and then looped it around like that. But I think here the DCE goes down, and as you can tell, that not having that Dark Energy onto that type null has really put sort of a pain to what Andy wants to do here. So here, see, he trades away the Acerola because obviously that play isn't capable, because if he takes away that Acerola, he's not able to attack for another turn. But with that Fighting Memory, he should be able to knock out either the type null that's in the active or a Silvally if he can have a chance to get something going. So here he sees he finds another Silvally. So here his ball state is so good at the moment. It's got two of the Zoroark GXs out. He's got a Zoroark there as well. Two Silvally up, and Thomas here's having a little bit of trouble with his board state in terms of getting energy on the right Pokemon for the right times, because here the type null is going to go down, it's going to get knocked out, and now Thomas hasn't got any energy on the board. So here he's in a bit of a sticky situation, so he has to try and accelerate that energy. So I agree with the play here that Thomas has made in terms of getting that Registeel up and into the active, because if he attaches a single steel energy into there, he'll be able to start accelerating some energy from his discard pile if he's got any in there. So here, see, he does attach that energy. and he's looking to then go through. And there you see Andy is taking the prize card that he deserves, and he picks up a Mew EX. So here comes the fighting memory onto the Oranguru to make sure it's down, just so he keeps it in play. So if he does want to N or Sycamore himself, he doesn't end up drawing it again. So here, I believe we've got an Ultra Ball, which discards 2 metal energy. So the Registeel's attack will come into fruition here in being able to actually get an energy from the discard pile and put it onto one of his Pokemon. Now, and then here comes the N as well. So the N shuffling all of their cards back into their deck and then drawing equal amount to their prize cards. So Thomas will be drawing 4 cards and Andy will be drawing 3 cards. So from this board state at the moment, it's really looking positive for Andy because he's got that fighting memory on the Silvally up top. He's able to then draw 3 new cards. He's able to get them trades away because there's no stopping the ability there. I didn't quite see what was in Andy's hand, but here I believe Thomas is going for another Ultra Ball. So he's going to discard another Guzma and a Metal Energy. So that's increasing his Metal Energies in his discard pile, which probably Thomas would say himself that he's had such a problem in this game of getting his energies in his discard pile. He hasn't been able to accelerate them as much as he wants with, for example, turbo drives or with Registeel's attack. So here he finds himself a Tapu Lele for next turn. So he attaches a Psychic Memory onto the Magerna. And here I believe he's doing 30 damage, I believe, and attaching an energy. Oh, an Oranguru's Instruct, sorry. And then he's doing 60. And then he's attaching to the Silvally, which is the right choice for me. Because if he wants to get back into this game, he's got to start getting the memories going and start doing some big damage. Because this big Silvally has taken so many attacks over the last few turns, it could possibly be too late for Thomas in general. So here's one trade from Andy. Let's see what he's got. So he has a Guzma in hand. So he's going to be able to knock out the Silvally straight up. So trades again. Here he's got a Lele and a fighting memory. So once again, there's another. Yep. So here's the Guzma. Brings up the other Silvally, which means that the one with all the damage on goes back into his bench, attaches the fighting memory, and I believe we're going to see a big KO here for 240, which I believe they're having a gander at. But yep, so Andy goes down to 1 prize card here. So it's going to be interesting now to see how Thomas is going to try and come back from this with having such a deficit in his prize cards, especially with them 2 fighting memories really being a struggle for Thomas to try and find. Now, I believe he's going to try and stall him a little bit to try and hopefully stop something. Oh no, so he's going for the straight up attack. Now, I personally don't agree with this because obviously with the GX attack that Silvally has, obviously he can go straight in and KO with the GX attack. So this is Andy's game straight up here. So I believe that once the damage has been put down, it's just now down to seeing how it goes and seeing what happens. So I believe, oh, okay, there's a Guzma coming up and then knockout. So fantastic. What a game that was. So it's really good to see Andy's deck come through there. So it was quite a new archetype in terms of using the dark energy. And from what I hear from talking to him myself, he's been working on it quite a bit, testing it and seeing how it plays. As I said, that Zoroark with the dark energy and the fighting memory from the Silvally allowing you to hit for weakness with the fighting and also the psychic is really quite good. So as well, being able to use that Trickster GX. Obviously, we didn't see any GX moves at all throughout that entire game, but obviously it opens up a new opportunity to be able to get them GX attacks off and to really start punishing your opponent with Trickster. So for example, like your Ho-Oh decks with their 180 damage, you can straight away one hit them with that Trickster GX, or if they bench too many Pokemon, you can really punish them by Rebel GX in. So really good game there, and it's a fantastic one to finish off the league challenge with. So overall, really good tournament held by Marquee Models. So thank you very much to all the staff in there. It was really well put on, well played, and all the people that participated did very well. So thank you very much, guys, for watching, and I will speak to you soon. Thank you very much.